Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot and Pagan Perspective. Hopefully this time my iPad can actually record, otherwise it's going to the iPhone, which I don't want to have to do because it's harder to do a video with that than it is to do with this. So anyway, getting on with everything before my iPad ends up failing on me again for like the 5th time, I'm going to try to do my entire video in the course of a timely manner that my iPad can keep up with. So anyway, last month I actually promised you guys that I was going to read this entire book, the book Christo-Paganism by Joyce and River Higginbotham. I, however, due to scheduling conflicts in my life and moving to Korea and whatnot, I have not gotten all the way through it, maybe actually a quarter of the way. So, sorry, but I didn't get through it all. I will give you guys a synopsis of it, and I will say that it is actually a pretty intriguing read for the first few chapters that I've gone through so far. So I hope it keeps up that momentum, and it's actually a very good book. However, I don't see it as one of those books that I keep for many years and keep on referencing to in the future. It is more of one of those one-time reads. It's a good read, and then you pass it on to the next person so they can benefit from it type thing. So, 5 questions that I have this week, and 2 of them came from Cara last minute, so I thank Cara for that. Because I did want to ask her about it. It's just that I kept on forgetting to ask her, and she finally got them to me without me asking for them, so thank you very much, Cara, for that. The first one comes from Wild Silver Wolf, who asks, if sin is being out of harmony with the flow of the spirit of life and with our divine natures, and thus with nature and deity itself, and thus transgressing divine law, how would a Christo-pagan repent? Continuing, it says, believing in Christ as a Christian, or as the Christian part, how do Christo-pagans reconcile the crucifixion crucifixion and the atonement for sin? Okay. So, basically I can't speak for other people, I can only speak for myself and my path and what it means to me. I still do believe in sin, demons, the devil, stuff like that, because that is something that I am familiar with, and I do believe that it's out there. I do believe there are negative entities out there that do want to do harm to us, whether they have the names that we assign to them, or they are something totally different. I do believe that they are negative entities of some sort that do want to harm us in some way. It's my way of viewing the natural balance of good and evil. The ultimate good being, the all, the God, and then the counterpart. Everything else in nature is a balance of good and evil, or of light and dark and everything. And so therefore, excuse me, I would assume that there would be good as in angels and evil as in demons. So therefore, that's what I actually subscribe to as my path. So, with that, I do believe in the forgiveness of sins through the crucifixion of Christ. However, me personally, I don't actually, I don't view on the repenting of sins as important as the focusing on the love of God. Repenting of sins, either, for me at least, will either come through asking for forgiveness through Christ to God, or to God directly, or to the person that it affects directly, and gaining that repentance that way, or through the threefold law, which I do also believe in. So I actually focus more on the loving aspect of God, and Christ. And while I do believe in other gods, ascended masters, what have you, I find that Christ is the one that I attune to the most, so that is why I still consider myself a Christo-pagan. Moving on. Kenneth asks, forgive me if you've already answered this, but is it considered Christo-pagan if you follow a pagan path, but due to the environment you hide your practice with Christian icons, basically, such as Celtic solar cross to represent the god and an angel to represent the goddess, or Catholic idols such as candles of Jesus, Mary for Mother of God, etc. So I don't believe in labels. labels are for soup cans. That's basically what I've always said. And since labels are for soup cans, that kind of makes it so I can't even really say what I am, whether I'm Christo-pagan, Christian witch, Christian Wiccan, whatever. You know, labels are for soup cans. I'll call myself whatever the hell I want, and whether or not you guys call me a D-bag for whatever I say, that's fine. You know, hey, that's your choice. And this is my choice. So basically, I don't believe in labels. I'll call myself what I want. You call yourself what you want. Okay, cool. So, even though I don't believe in labels, I would say that that's probably not a definition of Christo-paganism or Christian paganism or what have you. I would actually say that if your environment is forcing you to do something so it represents something else, I'd still say that would be classified as a paganism or a pagan practice under the umbrella of paganism. So I would say that you are still comfortably pagan and not a Christo-pagan. At least that's where I would view it, because you are using the tools and focusing on, from what I can gather here, you're still focusing on pagan deities and not Christian deities. You see where I'm going with this? I hope this makes sense. So if that doesn't make sense, please message me or leave a comment in the bottom bar, and I will get back to you. I will write you a lengthy email or something of the sort to clarify how I mean it. I don't mean it to be rude or anything. It's not like I don't want you in my club. I totally want you in my club. That would be so fun and so awesome. So anyway, moving on. We have one from CYYHIRAETH. I don't want to butcher your name. Sorry because I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. So basically this one says, hello, I would like you to speak about, I have a question I would like you to speak about. I am a practicing witch for over 30 years and have been to Salem several times. But for the last 3 years, every time my sisters and I make plans to go in the fall, my car breaks down before leaving. I would like to hear what your thoughts on why my car and not my sister's car breaks down, and what if any are the spirits, trying to say, etc., etc. Oh, and your answer cannot be, I am not to follow the path of a witch. All my family is from birth, or all my family from birth practices the craft. So, I was going to tell you that, that's the universe telling you that you shouldn't go. But if that's not the answer that you think, or you don't really believe that that is the actual answer, that the universe is telling you not to go, then maybe it's the way of the universe telling you to get a new car. So I hope that's a sufficient answer. And also, I was thinking about it today whenever I was, kind of mulling all these over in my head, and I thought to myself, well, maybe this is the universe's way of telling you maybe you should not drive to Salem. Maybe your sister should drive, or maybe you should take some alternate forms of transport, maybe a bus, a taxi, I don't know how close you are, plane, what have you. Maybe there is something on the way of driving there that you should not be in that car, whether it's going to break down along the way or get hit, I don't know. I don't assume the divine knowledge of the universe in making choices like that, but if your car keeps on breaking down at the same time every year whenever you plan to go, if it's the same car, you might want to think about getting a new car. If it's totally different cars, maybe you shouldn't drive, and maybe you should think about different ways of getting there, or not driving your car, maybe driving your sister's car. If her car breaks down, then you really need to consider maybe that's the universe telling you not to go. So I wouldn't tell you, never to go to Salem, because I kind of really want to go to Salem. So, and I would never tell you not to follow the path of a witch, because obviously that is your path, and that is your decision to make whether or not you should follow that path. So, moving on, and it seems like you're quite comfortable with it, so I would never tell somebody not to follow their path. So anyway, moving on. This one comes from Danny, which says, "What are your thoughts on Lady Liberty League's," if that's not a tongue twister, work on advocating for religious freedom in the military? For instance, they've worked to allow pagan religious symbols on gravestones of soldiers and ensuring access to pagan leaders/ministers while serving. Do you feel like it is difficult to be pagan in the military?" And, sorry, I'm getting a little dry mouth now. As I've said before, I'm not really open with my faith at work because it's not something that many people, especially in my career field, are really interested in, or not to down them or make them seem like they're dumb. And that's not my intention at all. I don't think they get it, because it's not something that is easily explained in a 10-minute, time of working together, and it's not really something people talk about at work. So I don't talk about my religion that much at work. I'll give a little snippet here, like, "Hey, you do know ghosts are real, right?" That type of thing. I will say stuff like that, or something to that effect. So other than that, I really don't, say what my path is at work. So therefore, I don't have any difficulty at work with it. Now, with the upcoming move and living in Air Force dorms and all that, while I'm in Korea, that is going to be a change, and I will speak more on it then, of the difficulties of being a pagan in the military, because it hasn't really hit me as much where I'm at, because I've always, as long as I've been on this path, I've not been in a deployed location or anything of that sort where, I need to do ritual and I don't have anything to do to use, or there's nobody that understands, or that I've had any persecution, stuff like that. So I haven't been in any of those situations, so I can't really speak on that as much. So I don't really find it that difficult, because I've always been in a comfortable setting. So anyway, I do think that the Lady Liberty League's works are fairly admirable. I mean, it was founded by Selena Fox, and I can't pronounce the other guy's name, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. I was just reading about it, and I was looking it up on my iPad, which I'm now using to record. So therefore, I can't actually look it up and give you the reference of who the other founder was. But it was founded by Selena Fox and this other guy. I can't remember. He's a reverend. Anyway, it was founded by them, and they give out, pamphlets, or prayer cards to pagan military members. They raise awareness that, hey, there are pagans in your unit, and this is, these are their holidays. They brief the chaplains. They tell the chaplains, if this Sabbath comes along, here's the materials that they might be asking for. So if you're in a deployed location, this is what you should be providing to them. They educate the chaplains, and the chaplains are usually more than happy to provide for your religious freedom, unless you get one that's a total D-bag. And I have run into a few of them, not that many. Usually they're pretty nice, they're pretty helpful, and they're pretty knowledgeable about other faiths, so they can actually speak intelligently on the subject. And usually, if you ask them, hey, can I use the chapel, for a Sabbath, can I use it for a full moon ritual or something like that, just so I can pay respect to, the earth, the god, goddess, what have you. They will usually say, yes, here are the keys, you sign them out, you have responsibility for it, give me a list of the things that you need, here you go, here's all the stuff that you need. I cannot legally be here, so have fun, and, God or goddess bless. And then they'll walk away and they'll let you do your thing. You lock up whenever you're done, you clean up, you lock up, and give them back the keys when you're done. So chaplains are pretty knowledgeable, and most of it's due to Lady Liberty League's efforts to make people more aware of the things that pagans who are soldiers and sailors, Marines, airmen, whatever, what they may go through during these times of stress. They've also had counseling sessions right after 9/11 alongside other chaplains to help people cope with loss or sudden deployment, or sudden mobilization, something like that. They've helped families, stuff like that. So I think their efforts are very admirable. I think they do some good works. I'd like to see what they're doing in the future. I didn't see anything new on their website. I did visit their website. I didn't see anything new happening on their website as far as military, so I'd like to see what they have planned next. It would be very interesting. Continuing on, what are some of the major struggles when being pagan in the military? Same question. This one comes from Shadow Sun. Again, I haven't really dealt with it much because nobody knows. And same thing with being a homosexual in the military. Nobody knows, so therefore it really doesn't come up in conversation. If somebody says something that offends me in any way, I say, no, you're wrong, shut up, basically. And if they don't, they know that I am not, it's not below me to go to the Inspector General and say, hey, you need to fix this, like right now, and then walk away. They'll do their thing, people will get in trouble, stuff like that. People will get educated, at very least, and that will be that. And if you hear that, that's Jelly playing around, knocking stuff off the counters. Thank you, Jelly. So yes, not many struggles for me that have been faced, but I will tell you of some whenever I'm actually in another country, whenever I actually have to spend a full year there. I will tell you of some of the struggles that I may face there, and while I don't see there being many, one of them is going to be having an altar set up and then having those wonderful surprise room inspections where you have to not necessarily explain why you have something like that out, but see the look on people's faces whenever they open the door and they see something that they're not used to seeing. So yes, that will be very interesting, and seeing what they say, because yeah, they say one thing and yeah, they may not have a job anymore. So, at least that's my views on it. So, yes, also I will say this about the Lady Liberty League's efforts for putting pentacles on headstones. I read about that, let's see, it was the first time I was deployed, and it was in around 2007, somewhere around that time frame, and they were saying that they are now allowing pentacles on, or pentagrams on headstones at Arlington, which was very surprising to me. I was not on my path then, so yeah, it was actually pretty interesting. And also, if you're in the military, they do send Circle magazine. They send it out to the different chapels and all that. I will try to find some more information on that. I will let you all know on that front about, if you're in the military, how to get Circle magazine delivered to you in your respective countries or at the chapels that you have around base. So you may be able to get this magazine, and I bought it a few times. It's actually filled with a wealth of information and a wonderful resource. So if you are in the military and you have the capability of getting that magazine, it would be a great resource for you. And if you're a writer, you might end up writing for the magazine, like some stuff about being in the military and what you experience as a pagan, Wiccan, Christo-pagan, Christian, which labels are for soup cans. I think this is about done. Love, hugs, and ladybugs. That's it's kind of the new sign-off phrase. Tell me what you guys think of love, hugs, and ladybugs. Kind of goes out to a friend of mine, Shell. Hey, Shell. Hope you're doing well. And so until next time, may you have a great day and a better tomorrow, and may your ancestors be with you. Bye-bye.